So good morning. I'm so excited to be here at Merritt College. This is a very great day. You're the first president of a community college I've ever met.
That's all right.
It's great to meet you, David M. Johnson, new president of Merritt College. Welcome.
Thank you, appreciate it. Welcome to Merritt.
Yeah. This is a special place.
Absolutely.
And it's special. I mean, I see Huey Newton right over there. Tell me a little bit about what makes Merritt College special.
Yes, we are sitting right now in the Huey P. Newton Student Lounge. He's one of the reasons why Merritt is very special. Merritt College we're located in Oakland, California, for those who don't know. We started in 1929 as the Merritt School of Business. The campus then transitioned to Grove Street, which is in North Oakland. It's now called Martin Luther King Boulevard, in 1946, and then came to this beautiful campus. You all can't see the $1 million vistas we have surrounding our.
Oh, I saw it this morning when I got here at 6, 7 a.m. Yeah. The lights of the city. We got the view of the bay.
It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. So we moved to this location in 1971. And I would say one of the many things that makes this campus special, you alluded to, home of the Black Panthers, Huey P. Newton and Bobby Seale met at Merritt College in the 1960s. So this is the birthplace of the Black Panther Party. The first African American Studies department founded at Merritt College.
The first African American Studies department in
the United States.
In the United States.
Even before, it was called Black Studies back then, but even before the movement at San Francisco State and UC Berkeley, the first African American Studies, Black Studies department in the United States.
I'm speaking with an African American Studies professor and PhD who is now the president of this college.
A full circle moment.
It is a full circle
moment. Yeah. That's.
And you have a personal relationship with this campus and this school. Tell me a little bit about growing up.
Well, it's very special and to me in that respect as well. I often tell people, first of all, I'm from Oakland, California. My home is literally one freeway exit away from where we're sitting. My first conception of what a college even was shaped by coming up here as a 4-year-old with my dad, whose friend had a key to the gym, so playing basketball. Yeah. Just on another personal note, and I think it speaks to the power of community colleges. This community college, my mother went here, and her ability to earn a degree from this school, like many of us, she was not stuck in a job, but she had a job. She was doing very well, and there was always, well, Miss Johnson, if you just had your degree, we could. Yeah. And she was training people and watching people be promoted and her being passed over. And so she came to Merritt College and ultimately got a degree, became a supervisor. So that one move changed the material circumstances of our entire family.
Formal education still matters.
Still matters.
Right? Degrees still matter. Tell me a little bit about the California Community College system and how Merritt College fits in with this system. Who do you serve and what's your mission?
The community college system, the modern community college system, was shaped by the 1960 California Education Master Plan for higher education.
Clark, right? The Clark Plan.
What you know about that? Clark Kerr. What you know about
Kerr,
that?
Yes.
Yeah, very good knowledge.
Yeah.
Done your research.
Yes.
And it was just designed, it was a 3-tiered system, and it was just designed, the UCs were supposed to serve a certain percentage of the student population, I think maybe 15%. The CSUs was supposed to serve the next 33, and the community colleges were really designed to benefit anyone who could use or benefit from higher ed instruction. So the greatest thing about community college, it's the most democratic institution of higher education that we have in the world. California Community College System is the largest community college system in the world. And the beautiful thing is anyone can come. Yeah. We're open door. We admit 100% of the people who apply. I mean, that's kind of our charge. And Merritt College serves primarily, we're located in East Oakland, so Merritt College serves primarily East Oakland residents, but people throughout the Bay Area. And our mission, as I like to convey it, is that we educate, empower, and inspire our students to become leaders in their respective fields, their own communities, and in a global society. So we're preparing leaders.
Yes, you are, and you're preparing 2.1 million people, right,
Absolutely.
in the state of California, and this is not going to change, right? When there's a recession, people need to go back to school.
Yeah.
When you get displaced from your job, the community colleges are the place to come.
Yeah.
What is your role as a president? You're a president of a college. I imagine you do a lot, but much of what you do is trying to focus on equity and access to the workforce. I imagine things have changed, the role of the community colleges, and now you really are that system that is in-demand education.
Right.
What is your role as a president in trying to promote equity and access to the workforce?
It's to be an advocate primarily. It's to be an advocate for the students. It's to your point, to ensure that there are equitable outcomes. We can go through, being an historian, we can look at all of the economic, political, and social inequities that have, basically plagued our democracy over the past, 200 some odd years. So the community college, I think, plays a critical role in helping to kind of even things out, to kind of balance the scales. And as a community college president, it's my job to go out to, number one, make sure that our students get a first-rate education. They're going to get our classes are the same classes that you can take at UC Berkeley, Stanford, wherever they transfer. So it's to make sure that they get a first-rate education, and it provides an opportunity for people to kind of reinvent themselves and pursue their academic, personal, or professional goals, whatever they may be. So to this conversation that we'll get into probably a little bit later, this industry, the cannabis industry, is really an opportunity for many of our students to do that.
I love that you mentioned reinvention.
Yeah.
Because to me, that's America.
Yeah.
It's all about reinventing. All of us, right, however we got here, we might, whatever it is, we're here now, and it's an opportunity to reinvent ourselves.
Yeah.
And right now, this series that we're doing is on the cannabis industry.
Yes, sir.
And it's about equity and access to that industry. This is an industry that has a long history. It's traditional now, and it's been stigmatized for the majority of that history. Yeah. But we're almost at the end of an era of prohibition.
Yeah.
Right now, I believe 11 states have legalized recreational marijuana, 34 states have legalized medical marijuana. Vice President-elect Kamala Harris has said, hey, we're going to legalize this, right? There's legislation, the MORE Act, passed by the House of Representatives that is going to legalize it. Yeah. So at the end of federalization, why is Merritt College embracing the cannabis industry, and what does that mean for a community college to embrace it?
I think that we have a couple of different things going for us here at Merritt College that we can leverage. First of all, the fact that we are in Oakland, California, which you could argue is the hub, is the
Amsterdam.
That your words. I would not disagree with that. But culturally, politically, socially, this is where it's at. I think people look to this region, Northern California in general, but Oakland, California in particular, as I believe you said earlier, the cultural capital of this movement. So that's number one. I think given the fact that we have a very successful landscape horticulture program here at Merritt, we're one of the first colleges in the state to introduce a cultivation class. Land Hort 840 is our cultivation of cannabis class. Oh, wow. We use hemp, and so we're making sure that we're not transgressing any of the state or federal regulations. But it really is an opportunity for folks to literally get their hands dirty and learn the science of cultivation. So that's two. And I think the ability to leverage some of our other departments, whether it be because this thing isn't just going to be about growing. It's going to be for those who want to pursue entrepreneurship in this area. We have a strong business department. We have a first-rate allied health department where we can talk about maybe medicinal uses. We have an administration of justice department, which might seem counterintuitive to some, like, well, okay, you're juxtaposing, perhaps, law enforcement with cannabis, but I don't think that needs to be an acrimonious or adversarial relationship. I think understanding the laws, rules, and regulations of the industry and being able to help people navigate that is going to be an advantage.
That's actually one of the biggest hurdles. It's just the regulations and compliance and navigating that. I'm new to the cannabis industry. I have not been following it, but I am doing some serious research to do this campaign. And over the last 5 years, the regulations are constantly shifting. And if you're not up to date with the regulations, you don't know how to enter into the industry. If you invest money into one area and then the regulations change, you need to have the capital to kind of pivot. But you're right, entrepreneurship, hospitality, agriculture, there's so many different avenues that you can go with this. And this is the fastest growing industry in the country, which is incredible. Why are community colleges able to meet the demands of this workforce? Like what are you able to do as new things come up? What could you do that maybe a four-year college couldn't quite do?
I think we have a bit more room to be innovative. I think the population, quite frankly, oftentimes is a bit more amenable to innovation. And I need to be careful with my words here. I don't think, this is not to disparage students who are in the four-year system. Okay, I taught in the four-year system many years as well. But there is something about our students a little hungrier, a little more focused, a little bit more open to direction, because many times they're going to school with the idea and focus of changing, like I said, the material circumstances of their families. Not to say that pursuing a degree in philosophy at Stanford isn't the same thing, but at the same time, there's a certain immediacy and urgency for a lot of our students that are coming to our campuses. So I think they are looking for opportunities to do something really important that can change their circumstances. And I also think too, given the demographics of where some of our student population, this industry is particularly attractive, not in the sense that community college students are more enthralled with the idea of marijuana. That's not what I'm saying. But I think it does represent an economic opportunity in an industry where students see themselves as being able to, if I take these 5 or 6 classes and earn the certificate, I can move right into this industry where there is not the same level of, maybe not the same barriers or barriers that operate in the same way as maybe more traditional industries. Like, for example, folks that are maybe have a background, maybe have certain background, educational backgrounds, or even have been involved in the criminal justice system, they are not precluded necessarily for pursuing a career in this particular industry.
So far. But it depends, because the MORE Act, unfortunately, does preclude some people with a felony offense from owning a cannabis business. So part of, as we're exploring these issues, is understanding policy and regulation and how it's going to impact your students. Because you do serve a justice impacted population, and we have to ensure that these workforce opportunities are available. I love that you use the word innovation with community college, because if we talk to most people, they might not think of the community colleges as being innovative. I happen to think you are in a great place to do truly innovative work.
I happen to agree with that.
Hey, so there's a reason we're talking.
Right.
Because there is a gap in our education system. K-12, higher ed, the workforce, it's not a seamless path. You don't just get inoculated with education, you're done learning at 22, and then you just work the rest of your life. We actually have to learn and work throughout our whole lives. Things are changing so quickly, your institution is one of the best positioned to truly meet the demands of the moment. You can turn on a dime.
Yeah.
What would you say to industry, right? Because I'm going to be talking with a lot of cannabis business owners, a lot of folks who are setting policy. What would you say to industry about why they should look to the community colleges?
Well, just to your point, that we have the dexterity to be able to be responsive to changing needs. I think I would agree with you 100%. The days of, getting a degree at 22 and getting a job and staying with that company for 30, 40 years, very few people are able to do that. And even the people who are able to do that are constantly trying to upgrade their skills. Yes. Right? As things change, technological advances, it's imperative that our workforce is able to maintain a standard of training and education and skill and expertise. And the community colleges, this is the place where companies and industries can send their workforce, and we can meet very, very specific needs in terms of our curriculum development, in terms of our certification programs, lifelong learning, anything that you need. The community college, I think, is the best positioned institution of higher education in order to get that done.
And because this is new, this is like a new frontier. There is not a whole lot of formal education to build back on. It's the Wild West. Yeah. You need industry folks to come into the community colleges and explain how things are done. You need folks who have been in the underground economy, who have been in the traditional economy, who have been part of this cannabis culture, like you talked about, this cultural hub of Oakland. Merritt College should be embracing that and owning that, and there's an opportunity for the culture to be preserved and put into the formal curriculum.
Yeah, I
mean, wouldn't that be interesting?
Yeah, we are in the field. I mean, we just need to cultivate it. I mean, that's we don't have to go far. I mean, there's so much talent and expertise, and like I said, and this idea of the underground culture, because I think that one of the things that Merritt College, that community colleges in general can do, but Merritt College in particular can do, is again start this work of destigmatization, to bring people out of the shadows, so to speak, into and empower them and inspire them, and to give them a place at the table in order to bring their level of experience and expertise to this work, to this industry, in order to produce the best outcome for our students. So I think and that's not, and again, I don't know if that's happening at the four-year schools. I seriously doubt it.
Mm-hmm. So I think tremendous opportunities for industry to engage with professors and deans and kind of craft these certifications. Right. What about students? What's the message to young people, whether they're 20-year young people, 30s, 40s? I mean, there's people of all ages who are having to reinvent themselves. Right. What is your message to them about how Merritt College and how the community colleges can meet their needs? Well,
again, community colleges being open access, but I'll say something specifically about Merritt College. At Merritt College, this is an institution where we pay very close attention to serving our students. You're going to, and I'm not saying that as a platitude, because everyone will say, we serve our students, but the focus that our faculty, our support staff, and our administration puts on making sure that our students have a positive, holistic experience. So it's not just about what they're learning in the classroom, because as we know, our students' academic success is often impacted more by what's going on outside the classroom than being able to take a test or write a paper. So we're very focused on serving the whole student, the soft skills, the hand-holding, but not to the point where we are infantilizing or being paternalistic with our students, but just giving them the support that they need to be successful in whatever area of vocational or academic pursuit that they may have.
Yeah, I mean, that's so important. It's the relationships, it's the psychological support, it's the peer network. You just got to be a part of a learning community no matter what. Now, I believe that Oakland has a competitive advantage when we're talking about the cannabis industry, right? A bunch of, I'm looking at the whole Bay Area, and I'm really going to be looking across the country, who's doing great work around the cannabis industry. Oakland has a very special, history, and I think Merritt College brings a lot to the table. What are you looking for in the next couple years? How are you going to leverage this competitive advantage? What would you like to see happen at this campus over the next couple years to grow and develop the industry?
Well, I would say that getting the support of because another advantage too, I would say, is just politically, getting the support of our political officials, people on the board, the city council rather, people on our own board, have gotten to the point where they are supportive of the curriculum that we're developing, which I think is going to manifest itself again in not just creating this one cultivation course, but being able to look at curriculum again in the business department, in environmental science, in allied health, to kind of braid all of those curricular offerings together, and then the partnerships in terms of internships and learning opportunities. Where else could you get that outside of, to this extent? Yes. Where else could you get that outside of Oakland? I would defy anyone to come up with a place where you would have the opportunity for integrated, practical, hands-on learning, that you would get a better overarching educational experience than you would get here at Merritt College, located within Oakland, California.
And what you said was important. You have the support of the board.
Yeah.
You have the support of faculty.
Yeah.
You've done the internal work to get those champions on your side. Yeah. And now what we're doing right here, you're winning hearts and minds outside.
Yeah.
Because this is a shift, right? It's the end of prohibition. It's the end of, cannabis is going to go from being this thing that's done in the underground economy. I think right now about 2/3 of the economy is still in the underground. Yeah. 1/3 is in the informal economy. We're going to start to see that shifting. You're actually seeing an opportunity and you're taking a risk. You're stepping forward first.
Yeah. But
as a leader, that's something that you have to do in order to create opportunity.
Yeah, and let me be very clear. This is not to suggest that there was not apprehension or there weren't misgivings. I mean, it is a process in order to, this whole process of to remove the stigma of the industry. And maybe, and it's not to suggest that everyone in Oakland, California is comfortable with the Peralta community colleges making a foray, or more than a foray, making a commitment to explore the opportunities in this industry. But I do think that the Bay Area being a place where there are many forward-thinking people, there are very liberal-minded people, not everyone, but I would say that most people would view the East Bay, the prevailing sentiment in East Bay, to be a bit more liberal, to be a bit more progressive. That's the history of Oakland, that's the history of this college, that's the history of this district. So in that sense, I think we've been very fortunate to be situated in that way, so we had perhaps less pushback than we would have had were we located in another part of the state. I just won't name regions.
Well, some people say, California leads the nation, Absolutely. Right? I'm a New Yorker. Mm-hmm. I'm from the East Coast.
Yeah.
But you see where I'm living?
Yeah.
Because I recognize that amazing things are happening here. Mm-hmm. I don't agree with all of the politics and the things taking place here, but I love the spirit of innovation. I love the spirit of entrepreneurship.
Right.
And this initiative represents that.
Yeah.
And there is a competitive advantage that Northern California has that Northern California needs to embrace, or that first mover status can be lost.
Yeah.
So it's like, if Merritt College doesn't step forward, Diablo Valley College, which is also building out
College
a program,
of Marin,
College of Marin, San Francisco City College.
Absolutely.
You're looking to see like a movement of different schools. As a region, you're starting to embrace this industry. Yeah. Probably just like this is the first school that created an African American Studies department. this is going to be the first region to create cannabis associate's degree.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You'll get to set the stage in higher education for how this industry is formally taught.
Yeah.
That's kind of powerful.
No, it is. And again, even as we are trying to maintain a competitive advantage in Oakland and at Merritt, it is a positive just in terms of our regional joint ventures, working with other colleges and just as a region, making sure that we're all hitting the same marks and that we have a sustainable and legitimate courseware, a sustainable, legitimate program of study in this particular area. But you're right. I think that there's a risk going first, but the rewards. I mean, the Bay Area. Just look at tech.
Yeah.
I mean, this can be what Silicon Valley was decades ago. I mean, it's the same opportunities. There's a lot of parallels.
And now we're getting into the economic opportunity. Yeah. So I'm very interested in this, not because I'm a proponent of cannabis. I'm a proponent of economic mobility. And if there is money to be made in this industry, and there's a lot of money to be made.
And somebody's going to make it.
Who is going to make that money? Yeah. Who is going to have access to it?
Right.
I want it to be your students.
Absolutely.
I want your students to have a seat at the table. I want them to be able to get good, high-paying jobs so they can afford to live here and learn how to open businesses in this industry.
Right.
Something we were talking about kind of before we got on film was just who's going to control this industry.
Yeah.
Is it going to be Amazon or is it going to be the small business? Yeah. If you are preparing the future workforce, the future entrepreneurs, there is an opportunity. You might be supporting the next big cannabis entrepreneur, right? You might be supporting just a lot of small cannabis entrepreneurs. There's a tremendous opportunity here, and that's an economic opportunity. Just my final thought here. Why should other higher education leaders think about embracing this industry? Yeah,
and I thought about this question. I would say two things. I would say, and again, kind of piggybacking on what you just said about equity, that's supposed to be the driving force. That's the reason why many of us got into community colleges, to provide equitable outcomes for students who may not have those opportunities otherwise. So in that sense, I would think any occasion that a community college leader has to ensure that for the student population, you should seize it. But at the same time, I do understand that there may be local pressures where or localities where the prevailing sentiment would be not to support this.
And it's not for everyone.
It's not for everyone.
Know your audience, know your community, do what makes sense, but seize the opportunity.
And I would be doing a disservice as the president of Merritt College if I didn't seize that opportunity for our students.
Well, I'm a big fan of Merritt College. I'm a big fan of East Oakland. East Oakland is rising. You're a big part of that. You have a lot of supporters. You have a lot of folks who want to see you be very successful. And let's just keep moving and let's make sure that success reaches everyone that has that hunger and drive to go after it.
Agreed. Thanks for coming up. I appreciate you.
All right. Thank you.